I thought I would tell you a joke about babies. It's a little bit rude, so I hope nobody's going to be offended. No children in the audience or anybody over 70, is there? A young couple, Peter and Sarah, were desperate to start a family. But after 9 years of trying, they began to fear that they were destined never to have children. Having exhausted all medical advice, Sarah read a magazine article about sperm donors and wondered whether they could be the way forward. She approached a few male friends to ask if they would be willing to make a donation, but all declined on moral grounds. So, with Peter's full support, she contacted Roger, a virile young man who was advertising his services in the local paper. Roger arranged to call on her at her home the following Tuesday, while Peter was at work. Sarah was uneasy about the procedure anyway, but couldn't bear the thought of going through with it while Peter was in the house. On that same Tuesday, a photographer, let's call him Mike, happened to be calling door to door in the neighbourhood. He called at Sarah's house and she answered the door, expecting a visit from the sperm donor. "Good morning," said Mike. "You don't know me, but I've come to..." Yes, I know," she interrupted. "There's no need to explain. Come in. I've been expecting you." "Oh, really?" said the virile young man, thinking that his flyers through the neighbourhood doors had paid off. "I must say, I do specialise in babies." "That's what Peter and I were hoping," she said apprehensively. "So tell me, where do we start?" "Well, I usually try a couple on the bed, one on the couch and a couple outside in the garden. That always works for me." "I see," replied Sarah. "No wonder Peter and I haven't had much luck. If we try several different positions and I shoot from 5 or 6 different angles, I'm sure you'll be satisfied with the results." Let's try not to be "I do hope so," she replied, becoming increasingly nervous. "Can we get this over and done with quickly?" "In my line of work, I have to take my time," said Mike. "You can't rush these things. I'd love to be in and out in..." I'd love to be in and out in 5 minutes. But I think you'd be disappointed with that. That's true," she sighed knowingly. The photographer opened his case and pulled out a folder of baby pictures. "This one was done on top of bus," he announced proudly. "Really?" replied Sarah, with a mixture of surprise and horror. "And these twins turned out really well, considering that the mother was difficult to work with." "In what way was she difficult?" stuttered Sarah. "She insisted that we go to the park. People were crowding 4 deep to watch, so it was really difficult to get the job done properly. It took over 3.5 hours before we were finished. I was absolutely exhausted." By now, Sarah was sick with worry. "Right," said Mike, sensing Sarah's unease. "I'll just get my tripod." "Tripod?" she queried, beginning to panic. "Oh yes, I need a tripod on which to rest my cannon," replied Mike. At this point, Sarah keeled over and fainted. Somewhat frustrated and flustered, Mike lifted her up and laid her on the couch. Just then the doorbell rang. Mike thought he'd better answer it. Maybe he could ask them for help. "Hello," said the stranger at the door. "I've come to see Sarah. Is she ready for me?" "You'd better come in," said Mike. "She's on the couch." "Are you her husband?" asked the young man. "Oh no, I'm the photographer," explained Mike. "Blimey," explained the young man. "If you're going to film me, I'm charging double."
Thank you.